Bridges are stronger when built from both sides.
Hello and welcome to Building Bridges. That's a show on the Greensboro Television Network that highlights ways of members of the community and members of the Greensboro Police Department can connect with each other. I'm your host, Sandra Hughes. Are you the type of person who likes to give back to your community or make a difference in the lives of others? Maybe you enjoy being a part of a team or contributing to a good cause. Now, if any of these appeal to you, volunteering may be just the thing for you. Today, we're going to share some of the many ways you can get involved in your community by volunteering with the Greensboro Police Department. Whether you have a lot of time to give or just a few spare hours, GPD has plenty of opportunities. Let's meet our first guest today. From the Greensboro Police Department, we have Jenny Caviness, who's the manager for the Office of Community Engagement. Also joining us is Suzanne Nazime, head of the GPD Citizens Academy Alumni Group and volunteer for countless GPD events. So Jenny, we'll start chatting with you and talk a little bit about volunteering for the police department. As a whole, an umbrella, what's it like?
Well, actually, we are always seeking volunteers because it's a great way to really get into our community and engage with our community, and that's what we do in the Office of Community Engagement. Suzanne is a great example of someone who's given hours and hours to volunteerism through the department, through our Citizens Academy, but we have multiple options for volunteerism, including working at some of our special events and leading neighborhood watch meetings. We are always seeking specialized volunteers to help out in our specialized areas, like our crime scene investigations or our records department.
So a lot more than what we might think of just sitting and looking out the window and watching police officers at work.
You bet, always. It's just interesting all the different things that you actually can get involved with, even as simple as donating a couple hours during Operation Yuletide to wrap presents for families in need.
So Suzanne, what inside of you makes you want to volunteer?
I think it's important, Sandra, to give back to the community that you live in. And going through the Citizens Academy allowed me to see from start to finish how our officers are hired, the process that they go through, and that's very important because I was not aware of any of that. So just having that foundation and the education was invaluable to me. And I just felt once I did that, that I needed to support our Greensboro Police Department and give back in any way I could.
So is there something deep in your heart or your mind that makes you want to give time like that?
I'm just a giving person. I always volunteer somewhere, whether it was in my children's school and, of course, a national organization. I volunteered for about 8 years. And then when I went through the academy, it just seemed like a logical jump for me, since I live here, to get involved.
So tell me what the volunteers get out of volunteering.
Really, I think it's just any volunteer experience. I think you really get a sense of community and a sense of belonging to an organization, and I think that's important. Most people are really seeking to make an impact or to make a connection.
I talk to people who want to make sure they get some money for something or that they get some kind of award for something, but that's not what we're talking about, right?
No, ma'am. To me, it's satisfaction, personal satisfaction that I'm doing something worthwhile. And again, I encourage people to go and volunteer. Even if they haven't gone through the academy, they certainly can. We encourage that as well, and sometimes we bring people on. Again, like Jenny said, Operation Yuletide, there's so many families in need, and there are many, many gifts to be wrapped.
So name some of the special qualities of volunteers you've worked with.
Oh my goodness. Just the big hearts, the ones that don't expect anything in return, and that's what volunteering is all about. You don't give to something and expect anything in return. It's all about giving to the community, knowing that you're making a difference. Even a slight difference is better than no difference at all, and that's why we need volunteers so desperately to come and participate with us.
And what I said earlier was that it doesn't matter if you have an hour or 10 hours.
Correct.
How does that work?
Well, so it also depends on what you want to do. We really like to find a good match for each volunteer, because usually people have they need an outlet for something they may enjoy doing and they don't have anywhere else to do it. You know, we might need help updating some graphics for a brochure, or we might need help, really leading a community meeting. We have a very dedicated group of volunteers right now leading our Safer City Summit initiative. And these volunteers are in the community to really trying to help build better relationships, but really to help reduce violent crime through engaging the community. It's just amazing what we can get our volunteers involved in.
So do you train them for anything in particular?
It depends on what the volunteer assignment is. If there are volunteer assignments that obviously would require training. And again, if you're going to lead a neighborhood watch group, or if you want to come out and wrap presents at Operation Yuletide or help with Operation Pass or some of our other annualized events, it doesn't require training, just a set of hands and a big heart.
Do you have some volunteers that have been there forever and have no intention of leaving?
Gosh, I sure hope so.
Sounds like this one, doesn't
I
it?
don't
This
plan on
beautiful
going
woman
anywhere.
Yes.
So we're talking about Suzanne now.
We
I
are.
don't plan to go anywhere. I just think it's a wonderful thing when we know what our police department does. And I've had no altercations with the police department, and I just enjoy meeting all of the officers that I've come in contact with, and they're very open, engaging themselves, and I want the community to feel that as well.
Do you meet people in the community who don't feel as strongly about this that you do?
Absolutely.
What do you
And
tell them?
I'm an advocate for the police department and always will be, always will be. And I just tell them, if you are really that pro, either for or against, then you need to go to the Citizens Academy that they offer, learn like I did about the foundation and what you can do to give back, get to know people. And I feel like when they are educated and they hear the good that is involved and what they can do to make a difference, they can take that to their community, whether they live in a community or an area that is maybe subjective or unfortunate to crime. They may have a better understanding of why they should assist and give back and volunteer.
So do you see volunteers of all ages, races, religion,
We do.
everything?
We certainly do. I think one of the most predominant cases that we have right now is we did have people that were not really crazy about the police department, but were willing to be involved in our Safer City Summit because they wanted to make a difference. And I think there was also a desire to really learn, is what I'm seeing nationally true locally? Is this real? Is this true? And what we've discovered is that a lot of our volunteers that really were not necessarily pro-police have really been able to learn more about the department and how to be part of a solution for whatever violence or concern is going on in their neighborhood that might be a public safety issue. And we've started building those relationships through volunteerism.
Wouldn't it be great if all of us were required to take some kind of course in what the police department does? Do you think it would change our attitudes sometimes?
If they're open-minded,
I think anybody can change an attitude about anything. It's always about learning. So it doesn't matter what you may or may not know about, but it's definitely the best way to change a mind.
I agree.
What is your favorite thing to volunteer to do?
Well, I love National Night Out, but my favorite has to be Operation Yuletide because it's so many people that are involved. It's 100+ families that we get to service, and our officers identify these individual families, and they fill out an application, and they are very well looked into, and it's just knowing that they're children and even adults that are getting things that they would not have gotten otherwise. And the generosity and the outpouring of our community, and those individuals do give back. So in essence, they are volunteering in a way because they're purchasing. They just don't see what I see.
I see.
And it's just heartwarming to see it. It is.
So if a person is listening to us now and says, I think I want to try that, where do they start? How do you get involved?
Well, we'd want you to call the Office of Community Engagement, or really, there's also an application process online. Depending on what kind of volunteerism that you'd like to do, it may or may require a background check.
I see.
So, again, if you want to be part of our Citizens Academy alumni, you have to go through the Citizens Academy. If you just want to come out and wrap gifts for Operation Yuletide, we welcome anyone. If you want to work in a neighborhood group, really working to address community problems, there's no background check required. You're working in your neighborhood. We welcome you.
What are the highlights of the Citizens Academy?
Oh, wow. The K-9, the CSI, just the ride-alongs, and just that in itself. But every one of the officers who come and speak, or the non-sworn officers that come and do their part, they are so knowledgeable, and they give such deep information for us. We have a booklet, Delicia. They have at least 40 people, I believe, in this current class.
Wow.
They start in February, they graduate in August, and I mean, they ask great questions, and I get to go, I usually go a couple of times throughout that process to encourage them to join us when they graduate in August, so that we can have more people on board as a volunteer that have been through the academy.
Goodness. So are most of your volunteers from the Citizens Academy?
I would say about half and half. We really do have a lot of engagement from our community that isn't necessarily from the Citizens Academy. Again, our Safer City Summit has brought in a lot of volunteerism. Educational awareness around any of our community concerns around crime has brought in a lot of volunteerism. We have volunteers that want to come in and just help get, bring bears. Can I go collect bears and give them to officers to give out? We have volunteers that want to, just do kind things for officers, and we've got one woman that loves to crochet. So every 3 months we get an email, and she's crocheted scarves, right now it's Easter baskets, and our officers can go into communities where kids may not be able to afford that and really give back. So we utilize our volunteerism to even give back through the department. It's just, it's very unique in terms of how people want to give.
So you're not opposed to someone saying, well, I've got a week this summer, but that's all I can do.
No, not at all. We can probably find something for them to do. And I can say, one of our most unique volunteers actually, she was a coupon shopper, and she had really done a great job collecting all these items over the course of a year. And through how she chose to volunteer was to donate all these items, which then we turned around and gave to seniors for Valentine's Day, because our senior residents often are forgotten, and we wanted to ensure that they knew the GPD loved them too. So again, it's a give back.
With each question that I ask you, you come up with answers that I wouldn't imagine, that I knew nothing about, and so that's pretty special too, don't you think?
It really is.
Yeah.
It
So here again, if someone asks you, what's your favorite thing, you could come up with something just like that.
I just said Operation Yuletide because it touches so many people. You're talking 100 plus families every year.
Wow.
You're talking, I can't even begin to count the presents and gifts that we wrap.
Oh,
Some are not wrapped. Some are pretend to be the Santa Claus gifts. And it just depends on the family's needs. But that's where you touch the most people. But then National Night Out, when you can ride along with the officers and you go in those communities and you get to meet the residents that live there and the officers that serve that community. And the interaction that they have, and that just warms my heart because they really do care about the officers, and we don't see that every day.
How do you qualify to do a ride-along, for example?
Well, you have to fill out a form that says you will not hold Greensboro Police Department accountable if something unfortunate were to happen. We are required through the Citizens Academy to do so many ride-alongs. That is part of it. And of course, the police week, we do volunteer. They don't have class that week, so you are asked to volunteer. Cop on Top, we ask you to volunteer. That's done down at the Chick-fil-A on Battleground. That's when the cops are on top, and it's wonderful to see everybody give, and they give money, and it's wonderful.
Now, in case someone doesn't know Cop on Top, what does that mean?
It's for the special education for Olympics, the Special Olympics, and those funds go to that particular organization. So it's not just giving back for Yuletide, for the Christmas families or for the elderly at Valentine's. It's actually giving back to a different group of individuals. So we are not just focused as volunteers on, or the police department is not on just one segment of people. It's a wide variety of people, so everybody gets touched.
And the cop is on top.
They are literally on top,
of the restaurant,
with the bullhorn, because we were told, be careful what you say up there because it's distracting to people on Battleground. But it's really such a good opportunity to see the people give. And we've collected thousands and thousands of dollars just from the drive-through over a 2-day period.
It sounds like fun, though,
It is
actually.
fun.
It's
It
a
really
lot
is
of
fun.
fun. Yeah.
It's a lot of
Good.
fun.
Well, you all have really given me a lot to think about as far as volunteering is concerned. But don't go anywhere. We still have more questions. The Citizens Academy is just one of the many ways you can get involved with the Greensboro Police Department. If that seems like too big of a deal, we can have some other suggestions for you. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Building Bridges, a monthly show that brings together police and community leaders to make our city safer. I'm your host, Sandra Hughes. Now, if you're just tuning in, today we're talking about volunteering with the Greensboro Police Department. We just had a lovely conversation with Suzanne Nazime, one of the GPD's most dedicated volunteers. Joining us now is someone who is volunteering in a very different way. Please welcome Katelyn Ward. Katelyn is a student at UNCG who is about to graduate with a Master of Science in Athletic Training. Wow, welcome, Katelyn. Thank you for joining me and Jenny from the Office of Community Engagement, because we're talking about the fun things that can happen for you when you are volunteering. Now, are you doing some volunteering?
I am. I've been volunteering with Jenny in the community of what is it? Service engagement?
Office of Community Engagement.
Office of Community Engagement.
And explain what that is then, Jenny.
Well, the Office of Community Engagement, really, our goal is to really do not just outreach, but bring people in to be part of the department. So obviously volunteerism is a caveat for that. And we're fortunate enough that Katelyn came to us with a wide variety of ideas of how to give back either to our officers as a volunteer or back to the community. She's been a great connection between the community and the police department.
Well, I'll tell you, we've had some great information about volunteers throughout this show. So, Katelyn, what is it that makes you want to give time and energy to someone else?
So I started volunteering with the police department last year. I am involved in a leadership program at UNCG, and part of the program was to volunteer with an organization that you felt passionate about. And the Greensboro Police Department was the organization that I chose. So I've done a variety of volunteer programs and projects throughout the past few months. I started with Jenny with this idea that I had last summer. I had a conversation with a police officer, and he had said, you know, we love giving teddy bears out to kids, but we're running low. Is there anything, you know, any ideas that you have? And it started off as a small concept, and it just grew from there. I was able to get local businesses involved. Page High School football team ran a bake sale. Guilford College lacrosse, they did a raffle basket at a tournament. So all those funds that were raised, I was able to purchase over 1,000 teddy bears.
Oh my, oh my. How does it make you feel to do something like that?
It's just great to be connected. It was such an awesome feeling to know that I was connecting so many different age groups and community members into you know, going towards this goal of donating these bears, and it, you know, getting everyone involved was just so great to see.
So it's Teddy Bear, right?
Teddy
Yes.
Bear.
So when you're looking for volunteers for that particular opportunity, are you looking for children, teens, adults?
Well, it is one of the opportunities we have that's good for anyone of any age.
Ah, okay.
So it is a great program. And again, we get a lot of, we do seek new stuffed animals and bears to be given, because again, it's hard to make sure that they are safe for the next person who's going to receive. But Katelyn was so generous in her giving, and she gave apparently the perfect size bear, because even our officers on motorcycles can tuck them in their side pockets.
That's cool.
And so they'll pull them out whenever they need one. And it really does help calm a situation or create a connection between a child and an officer. And it's so vital. But we need those hands in the community to make them happen. So we're so grateful to have Katelyn to be able to do that.
Oh, yes. Do you need other people to help you with that?
It's great to have other people helping. I really like that I can start with a small concept and then reach out to others and bounce ideas off and get other resources to further the projects and get a bigger outcome. So it's great to work with others.
So if you had to advise a group of people who do not volunteer as to why they should and how they'll feel about it, what would you say?
I would just say find something that you like to do. I mean, I like athletic training. That is what I'm going to school for, and I use that opportunity to reach out to the athletes that I work with and get them involved and get them excited. So I really just started with something that I like to do and found a way to incorporate it to give back to the police department, and it's really a very fulfilling feeling, you know, to put everything together and see this wonderful outcome and see everyone's connections to it, and it's just very fulfilling.
That's great. Do your volunteers learn new skills?
They do. Oftentimes, really, when they come to the department, they may or may not have every skill that of a project we might need, but what we've discovered is people are very willing to learn and willing to try, because in volunteerism, you really can't make a mistake. I mean, we're grateful for your time and what you can give, and, you know, that time is very valuable.
And I bet it's pretty cool to meet people who feel the same that you do about volunteering or about this particular project. Is that true?
It is. My entire career I've worked with volunteers of different ages, and it is always exciting to see what drives someone to volunteer. And again, through things like the Teddy Bear program, anyone could donate stuffed animals to a program to help make connections in the community, and you can feel good about it. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of talent or a lot of treasure. So, you know, you really can give without having to give too much. much.
I feel better about that now. Time and talent are into those. So when young folks in particular are, say, in high school, going off to college, and they decide to volunteer on a particular type of topic or project,
Yes.
what's that doing for them inside?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We actually do a lot of senior projects with our Guilford County school kids who are seeking to get that service diploma. And we had a young woman do a project to collect medications in the community because she was concerned about opioids and overdoses.
my.
And she was very passionate. She wants to be a DEA agent. And so she picked a passionate project and she collected over 30 pounds of prescription medicines. She got off the street through 1 2-hour event that she planned by herself. It was very impressive.
That is impressive.
It is, and she learned all those event planning skills. We had a young man that really wanted to learn about texting and driving, and so he really sought education. He went on a few ride-alongs, and he helped create some marketing materials around why you should never text and drive. And as a high school student, he was very tech-savvy, so we were very fortunate to have that.
Gosh, that's got to be a blessing, especially when we're doing the kind of things that you do. If one of your fellow students would come to you and say, how can I help? Where can I help? What would you tell them?
Jenny is a great resource. The community engagement department has lots of great ideas. One of my classmates did ask me about a recent project that I did, and again, it's just finding something that you're good at, using one of your talents. I did a first aid workshop with Girl Scouts, so I actually used my experience. I was a Girl Scout myself, and I knew that there were certain requirements for badges that they needed to do, and my experience with first aid, I was able to be a part of that, but I also had police officers come in and talk to the girls, and it was great for conversation. They asked questions, they sat and colored with the girls, so it's really just taking your talent, something that you like to do, and I would encourage that to any of my classmates or peers as well.
Now, Jenny, I guess a lot of people are like me. I can't sing, I can't dance, I have no talents, I don't play instruments and things, so I feel I don't have any talents. What would you tell a person like that?
I completely disagree. I bet you have a talent I can figure out how to use. You're very well spoken. Maybe you can do some recordings for us at the office. There's multiple things.
Okay.
We're always seeking volunteers with any kind of talent, and I think we should never look at it as what you don't offer. It's just always what you can offer.
That's a good idea. I think that's true, because I've found over the years in television that everybody can do something.
Yes.
If I meet so many people that like to do things behind the scenes. They don't want to be out front. They want to be behind the curtain and those kind of stuff. And so that makes it all right for them, right?
It does. There's always something you can find for a volunteer to do.
All right, what's the big thing coming up for volunteers?
Well, I will tell you, we have got a couple of projects. Right now, we've got our Citizens Academy going on, so we're hoping that all of the folks in that academy will become a volunteer. But before you know it, we have Police Memorial Week, and we have a
we've talked
large
about
banquet,
that.
so we're going to need extra sets of hands to make that banquet take place. And really, an easy way to volunteer is to go blue the week of Police Memorial Week. You can volunteer just by supporting the department. Hang a ribbon outside your door that's blue, or put a blue light up in your outside, outside lights. It's a really neat way just to show support, and it's a kind of volunteerism. It's an easy way to give back if you're super busy.
Now, what's blue about?
Blue, really, it's just Go Blue. It's Police Memorial Week, really focuses on law officers that have died in the line of duty, and so they honor them with the national theme is Go Blue. And so we do get a lot of volunteers in to help spread the message about why we should connect with our police department, how we can honor officers who have fallen, and again, just supporting the department that exists here.
So if people are listening to us now, you're saying you don't have to get in your car and drive somewhere to volunteer. Hang out something blue.
Just hang out something blue. My own mother puts a big blue ribbon around the tree next to her mailbox, and she's super happy to do it because she's busy. She's got a lot going on. She's helping me take care of my kids. Right. So, again, it doesn't always have to be a big, huge act. Sometimes just a small gesture of kindness is enough volunteerism.
I had someone say to me in a previous interview that it would be so nice if people said to officers, thank you for your service, like they do to veterans. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I do, and I think that is what's so fulfilling about volunteerism is that you can say thank you in your own unique way. The high school students were so excited to do a bake sale, and that was their unique way to do it. We had a manager at Starbucks who was so excited to get involved, and she donated coffee for Christmas Eve, and that was her way of saying thank you. So to kind of be that facilitator for those different groups in the community, to find your own way to say thank you is very fulfilling.
So are you open to suggestions from people? Saying,
Always.
How about we come to your organization and volunteer to do such and such and such?
Always. It doesn't mean we can always accommodate, but I'm always willing to listen.
That's good. So do each year you add something to your volunteer list of things?
It really kind of ebbs and flows with what's needed in the department and what the community is seeking. You know, what the community needs and what the department needs changes every day. And so I think it's always good to be flexible whenever we're looking at volunteerism.
If you could give us a number of people who volunteer with the Greensboro Police Department, do you have any idea how many people that might be?
Oh, well over 100,
Wow.
I would say easily.
Do you have room for 200?
I think that I could probably figure out what to do.
That is just great. And I'm surprised that a lot of people aren't feeling like you feel, and that it just let me do something, and it makes me go to sleep well at night. How about some words of encouragement? Come volunteer.
Come volunteer, say thank you in your own way, get excited about it. Even if you pass a police officer while you're out, just say thank you. It's the little things that really matters.
I would imagine police officers really don't expect that, do they?
No, they don't.
And that's too bad.
Well, I think it is a very, very credible thing that police officers really are seeking to do their best and to keep the community safe. And I think that that's what drives them, is really protecting people. And so
how did it happen that we're not doing that as much as we should?
well, I think everybody just gets busy. I really do. I think we all get busy, and I think we all just kind of go about our lives in our regular way. And I think when you find time to be thoughtful and think of others, which you can do through volunteerism, it's a great way to really show that you care.
What do you learn about police officers in general when you become a volunteer for the department?
I think the biggest thing you learn is that these are people too. These are people who leave work every day and go home to family and pets, and they have parents and they have children, and they take off that uniform and they look just like you and me. And so I think that's one thing that volunteers get to see that maybe the community doesn't always.
That's great,
Absolutely.
and that's absolutely right. You have any ideas on where you're going from here with volunteering?
From here, I've volunteered to speak at a TED Talk. So I will actually be talking about humanizing the badge and talking about different police officers and what they like to do and their hobbies, and just showing fellow community peers that they're people too, and like Jenny said, they're just like you and I. So it's that'll be my next project, and then after that, I'll work with Jenny and we'll see what else I can get involved in.
You have
We're
any
gonna keep
plans
her.
for her?
We're going to keep her as long as we can.
What would be perfect for someone like Katelyn?
Well, for Katelyn, really just to keep doing what she's doing. I think really utilizing all the skills once she graduates. You know, what does she want to do next? Because it's not about me, it's about your volunteer.
So it's not about you going out and starting a career, which you will do, but you got to keep that in you, right? Keep
Yeah.
that volunteering.
Yeah, I think everyone has a little spark of something that they want, to feel accomplished, or they want to feel like they can give back. And being a volunteer is such a great way to do that. And volunteering with the Greensboro Police Department is a great way to do it. And there's a lot of different ways to get involved.
Okay. How can someone get in touch with you? Where do
Well,
they start?
Really, the easiest way to do it is to go to our website and start there. Look through the volunteer opportunities that we have, gsopd.org, and our phone number is there, email addresses are there. Connect with us, and we can help connect you with what makes you really want to be engaged with our department.
I think that sounds wonderful. I'm so pleased to talk to both of you today. I feel good. I have no talents, but maybe I can do something. Those are excellent, excellent reasons to volunteer. And what I take away is our guest is volunteering in a meaningful way in so many ways. The people who donate their time and talent, such as a sense of satisfaction, and the organizations and community who benefit from the volunteers are incredibly appreciative of their efforts. By volunteering, everyone wins. Everyone wins. Please consider becoming a volunteer. Find an organization or cause you are passionate about and get involved. You'll be glad you did. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm Sandra Hughes. Be safe.
This show was funded in part by the Greensboro Police Foundation, an independent nonprofit organization whose mission is to enhance Greensboro's economic strength by promoting the safest city possible for its residents, workers, and visitors through support of the Greensboro Police Department. For more information about the Greensboro Police Foundation, visit www.greensboropolicefoundation.org.